Laugh out loud, the best comedians in history. Comedians have long been some of the biggest celebrities in TV and cinema. And these stars have been putting smiles on people's faces for years. It's World Laughter Day, so why not read up on the biggest names in the history of comedy? Did your favorite comedian make the list? Well, let's watch together to find out.
Mort Sahl.
The legendary American comedian dedicated himself to fighting hypocrisy and used comedy as a way to satirize and address political and social issues, which has paved the way for so many comedians after him. He roasted presidents his whole career, from Dwight Eisenhower all the way to Donald Trump, and set the bar for political commentary. Sahl died of old age, 94, in Mill Valley, California.
Jerry Lewis.
The comedian rose to stardom alongside his partner Dean Martin, with whom he formed the duo Martin and Lewis. He was equally successful as a solo comic.
Jerry Seinfeld.
This is an indisputable choice. Seinfeld has been the highest paid comedian in the world for years. His sitcom Seinfeld was everyone's favorite show in the 90s.
Charlie Chaplin. Charlie Chaplin is one of the biggest comedians of all time. The Brit was known for his perfectionism and for being involved in all creative steps in every one of his films, from the production to the soundtrack.
Jim Carrey. The comedy star has a lot of box office hits under his belt, including Ace Ventura, Dumb and Dumber, The Mask, The Cable Guy, Liar Liar, Me, Myself, and Irene, Bruce Almighty, to name but a few.
Laurel and Hardy. Oliver Hardy and Stan Laurel formed one of the most popular comedy duos in American cinema.
Leslie Nielsen. The Canadian actor was a staple in comedy films in the 80s and 90s. How can we forget Airplane? 1980, or the Naked Gun movies?
Stephen Colbert. David Letterman's replacement on The Late Show proved to be as hilarious and intellectual as his legendary predecessor.
Eddie Murphy. The actor collects many popular comedies such as Coming to America, and the Dr. Dolittle, Beverly Hills Cop, The Nutty Professor and Shrek franchises. Lucille Ball. At a time when men dominated the comedy scene, Lucille Ball was opening the way for female comedians. She was the star of many sitcoms, including the wildly popular I Love Lucy.
Rowan Atkinson.
The actor became famous worldwide with his character Mr. Bean, which was so popular that movies were made in addition to the TV show.
Peter Sellers.
The star of the Pink Panther had a unique style. He was great in both light comedies and dark humor. His best movie is Stanley Kubrick's Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb, 1964.
Marx Brothers.
Brothers Chico, Harpo, Groucho, Gummo, and Zeppo were already adored in theater. So it's no surprise they became a movie phenomenon too.
The Three Stooges.
Moe, Larry, and Curly were comedy aces. They starred in dozens of both short films and feature-length films.
Melissa McCarthy.
The actress is a comedy staple both in TV and on the big screen.
Abbott and Costello.
This unforgettable duo is also one of the most iconic in American TV and cinema.
Ricky Gervais.
The British actor and comedian, who is the star of UK version of The Office, has a huge fan base, and some of his biggest gigs include hosting the Golden Globes and the Emmys.
Amy Schumer.
Amy Schumer is one of the best paid female comedians around. She's had success in TV and film too.
Alan Carr.
The British comedian is one of the biggest in the game. He started as a stand-up act, but he also moved on to television.
Roberto Gomez Bolaños.
The creator of El Chapulín Colorado is one of the biggest names on the Mexican comedy scene.
Kevin Hart.
Of all the new school comics, Kevin Hart is one of the highest paid. He's been in several hit movies such as Think Like a Man 2, Get Hard, The Wedding Ringer and Jumanji.
Jimmy Fallon.
The host of The Tonight Show has been around for years and is one of the most popular comedians in the US.
Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle rose to stardom after his hugely popular show on Comedy Central. He disappeared for many years but returned to the spotlight with his Netflix specials in recent years, although mostly due to their controversial content.
Chris Rock.
This comic has seen success as a stand-up and on the small and big screens, including as a voice actor.
Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller is not only a talented actor, but also a screenwriter and director. He starred in There's Something About Mary, Zoolander and the franchise Night at the Museum, among others.
Mario Moreno, Cantinflas.
Charlie Chaplin was a huge fan of the Mexican comic, who was also super popular in the US.
Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler has starred in huge box office hits including 50 First Dates, Grown Ups, and Funny People, among others.
The cast of Monty Python.
The British comedy show is still a cult to many these days. It was aired by BBC from 1969 to 1974 and it also moved onto the big screen.
Jimmy Carr.
The artist is one of the most respected names on the British comedy scene today.
James Corden.
James Corden is another talented Brit who crossed the pond to host The Late Late Show from 2015 to 2023. It was hugely popular for its carpool karaoke sketch.
Well, that's all, folks.
That's my line.
Step aside, babe. Let a star do this. That's all!
That's all, folks!